Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's just so much stuff taking place right now. People need to realize what is going on. They need to forget about the television and start warning other people of what is taking place right before our very eyes. Basically, what's happening is the death of Canada, the death of the United States, and the death of Mexico. Basically, what the globalists are bringing in is the North American Union. Now, before I get into this, I want to start off with this. The Bilderbergs, they're the most secret organization in the world. They're from Europe. Their first goal was met back in 1900 something. They created World War One for what purpose? Because there was no reason for World War One. They created it so they can create the United Nations and a European Union. But they failed. They have failed at that time. So what did they do? They created an even bigger war, which was World War II. They funded Hitler and so on. This is well documented. Okay? The United States funded Hitler, they funded Mao, they funded Mao Zedong, Stalin, all of them. President Bush's great-grandfather was friends with them, and all this other stuff. This is what I want to get to. The Bilderberg's goal was met. So after World War II, they succeeded. They created the United States of Europe. They created the European Union, and they united all the European countries into Europe. And then their next goal was met, was to create an Asian Union. They created an Asian Union, and then they created an African Union. And now, because before they can get the New World Order up and running, they needed to create the United States of Europe. And that's what they did. Their goal was met, and they succeeded. So now they have a European Union, they have an African Union, they have an Asian Union. And back in 1957, at the Treaty of back in 1957, at the Treaty of Rome, there was a treaty. They confirmed that Europe is the revived Roman Empire, and they were calling Rome to become the new capital of the new Europe. And the Club of Rome. This goes back to 1970, or was it 19? Yeah, in the 1970s, they talk about 10 kings. Now, isn't that significant, knowing what the Bible teaches about the 10 kings? They have a plan to divide the world up into 10 sections, and that's exactly what they are doing right before our very eyes. So this is what I want to talk about, the North American Union. Now, the North American Union is Canada, US, and Mexico emerge into one super country like Europe, where we share the same currency, which will be the Amero, or they'll probably change it to the North American dollar, or whatever they'll change it to. This is what their plan is, people. They're bringing in a North American Union. They actually openly admit it. They're not even ashamed of it, that we're bringing it in. And these people, they get caught in so many things, so many lies that these people say, that this is all has to do with trade. This is a trade agreement, blah, 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 but it's not. Henry Kissinger, he does not care. He does not care. Henry Kissinger said it out. This was in the Los Angeles Times. Henry Kissinger said that the NAFTA thing has nothing, I'm repeating that, has nothing to do with free trade. He said this is an amazing architect towards a new world order, a one world government. So that's what they're doing, people. Now, I was thinking to myself, because this other guy that I listened to, Gary Kah, he's from, where was he from? Indonesia? Was it Indonesia? I forget. He's from some other country, but he was working in the government at that time, and he found that there was plans that were being laid out that they were creating a new currency. Until he just left. He couldn't believe it. So he said all the stuff that they've been planning and so on. But he says he believed that what's going to bring about a North American Union will be some kind of sort of dollar crisis. Maybe once the United States dollar collapses, that's when they're going to unite Canada, U.S., and Mexico into one super country where they could just create one. We'll be sharing the same currency. So that's what I wanted to explain to you guys. That's what they're doing. They're bringing in a North American Union, which is Canada, U.S., and Mexico, merge into one super country. Or, if you never know, they may go straight to world government. Because that's their end game. They don't care about a North American Union. They are doing it by stealth. What I mean by stealth, they're doing it secretly. They're uniting each country, like they united the European Union, Africa, Asia, and now what is underway is the North American Union, and that's not the end game. Their end game is world government. That's what they're bringing in, is a one world government. So this is what they're doing, and this is what people need to realize. Like, people are protesting against this like crazy, because this is for real, people. People need to realize that this is not a conspiracy. This is what is going on in the political realm. The politicians, this is what they're doing. Like the guy was saying, like right when Obama came in office, he's like, the new boss is starting to look like the old boss. Starting to look like the old boss. The new boss is starting to look like the old boss. Well, obviously, they're all working on the same agenda to bring in a one world government. And back in 2012, by the way, just to let you guys be aware of this, check it up, look it up on the internet. Obama signed an executive order that is pushing us closer to a North American Union and an economic system. They're uniting all the nations, all the economies into one, and they're creating a global economy. Because it's not going to stop with the what's it called, the North American Union. With time, everything is going to shift to Europe. That's what they're calling for globalism. The whole world. Even Gordon Brown. It's crazy. Like, yes, ladies and gentlemen, a new world order is emerging, and it goes on and on. All this financial crisis that we're suffering from, it's not just a crisis, but it's swung up a unique opportunity. Really, a global society can truly be created. A global society. You see that? And even Obama. We must tie global citizenship together. It's the only way, and so on and so on. Because nations that are weak, no matter how strong a nation is or how weak a nation is, they cannot face such challenges alone. We must all come together. Tie global citizenship together that continues to bind us together. Leadership in Washington will not remove this burden off of us. It's the only way. It's the one way. And it goes on and on and on and on. Okay? This was amazing. It's all amazing. They're calling for the end of our sovereignty. The WTO, the World Trade Organization, is calling for the end of Canada, the end of the United States national sovereignty. We already have a one world court, a one world bank, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, you name it. And this other guy, Robert something, I forget his last, I don't know his last name, but he says, we must move as fast and as quickly as we can towards a one world government, one world religion, and a one world leader. This is what people need to realize. As I was saying, they already have it under construction. It's called the NAFTA Superhighway. You guys can check it out. The Texas people are not pretty happy with it. They're actually protesting against it and so on. They're always trying to they're doing it through fear and manipulation, saying we have a border crisis. So they're erasing all borders. They want to make us all global citizens, that we can go in and out as we please. That's why they're pushing right now on the globe for every citizen of the globe to have a biometric ID card. People need to realize that this is not a joke. This is not a joke. The governments of the world are bringing it in, biometrics for its people. They said we need a human ID system. Imagine a human ID system, people. What does that tell you? It's like the mark of the beast. The biometrics is connected in to the mark of the beast. Because there's going to come a time when it's going to move from the card onto the individual itself. This is what's going on, okay? This is what's going on, people. Yeah, like I was saying, I even heard my own Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, talk about it, like NAFTA highways, super highways, if you want to call it, blah, blah, blah. And he even said it. He even said it. I heard him, okay? He said, like I said to Canadians before, I say it again, it's no longer called the Canadian economy. It's a global economy. It's a global economy. I know many people, they don't like the idea because it's away with their national sovereignty, but it's a simple reality. Yeah, it's a simple reality to throw at our freedoms, isn't it? This is what people need to understand. And then the other guy from here in Ottawa here, he was talking about Canadians are going to have to give up a little bit of their sovereignty for security. Well, let me tell you something. I do not want security. I rather risk the dangers and keep my freedoms than risk this. Because what did Benjamin Franklin say? Whoever would trade liberty for security deserves neither. It's a bunch of bull. It's not about security. It's about power and control. That's why they're uniting the three countries together. Canada, U.S., and Mexico emerge into one super country. That's the end of Canada, the end of the United States, the end of Mexico. This is what I was wondering. This is what I was wondering, ladies and gentlemen. Because when this happens, that's the death of our country. It's gone. They are about to pull the plug on Canada, the globalists. So I was wondering to myself, even about the United States, all of that. What's going to happen to our flag? What's going to happen to the Canadian flag? What's going to happen to the American flag? What's going to happen to the Mexican flag? Explain to me. What's going to happen? So I want to leave my comments open. Whoever's listening to this, tell me what you think on tell me what you think. Because I was just thinking about it. If we're going to a North American Union, where Canada, U.S., and Mexico, we're going to be sharing the same money, what's going to happen to our flag? That means everything to us. That stands for freedom. What are they going to do to it? They're going to change it all into a North... That's why I don't know. So I'm going to leave my comments open. I just wanted to let you guys be aware of this. This is what they're bringing down the line right now, and what they're really pushing for as well, because I said within the North American... Well, they're already bringing it in anyway. The biometric ID card. Everybody has to have a biometric identification card, identify to us that you are who you say you are, and they're getting rid of the SIM card. The Canadian SIM card or Social Security card or whatever. They're getting rid of it. They said it's no more good, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what's going to replace it. I think I was hearing it was going to be a piece of paper or something, which makes no sense. You can lose that. They're always going to make something sound good. They're going to make it sound good, so we come up with a new technology that people can have, blah, 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 to surveil, to track, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to remember anything about pins or nothing, just by the touch of your finger. And now they're talking about a bracelet that's going to be hitting the markets this spring in Canada, that it's about your pulse, your heartbeat. They're like, oh, your heartbeat can become your new password. This is sick, Lord. Sorry. This is sick, people. This is very sick. People need to understand that Big Brother is taking over. The world government is taking over. Our world is under siege of the New World Order. The New World Order is taken over, and it's just sick just to see what's going on in the thing about the Obamacare. They said once your children enter the school property, the children are under the control of the school. They're told to do yoga, they're going to have to do it. So there's going to be lots of persecution going on, and they were saying all kinds of stuff. They determine if you get medical help or not. What's the other thing? Yeah, say you're feeding your children healthy food. They determine if it's healthy or not, and if it's not, they can come and take your children out of the house. It's just totally sick. It's totally sick, people. This is the New World Order taking over, and this is all I got to say. It's taking over. Okay? People need to understand that this is for real. This is not a joke. This has been planned in their thing. Even James Warburg, back in 1950, he said, we shall have world government, whether we like it or not, but the question is either by consent or by conquest. And this other guy, Paul Henry Spock, this is what he said. We do not want another committee. We have too many already. What we want is a man of significant stature who is able to hold the allegiance of all people, to pull us out of economic morass in which we are sinking, and send us such a man, and be he God or the devil, we will receive him. And it's not funny that the European Union is looking for a super president right now. That could very well be the Antichrist, people. We are very close. We are very, 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 very close to the rapture of the church from taking place. So I'm signing off. My brothers and sisters in Christ, be ready. Jesus is coming. So I want to leave my comments open. Tell me what you guys think about the flag thing, what will happen, or whatever. Actually, I'm not going to leave my comments open. I'm not going to leave them open. So I'm just letting you guys go from here, because so many people like to say bad things. I'm not taking the chance. So I'm not leaving the comments open. I'm blocking them. Well, this is all I gotta say. I'm signing off, and God bless you all.